Have you ever woken up to a house so quiet it feels like the world forgot you exist? No doorbell ringing, no phone buzzing, no familiar voices breaking the silence. It's a moment that hits hard, like a wave of emptiness you didn't see coming. I've been there, and maybe you have too, or you're afraid you will one day. The truth is, aging can bring solitude that feels overwhelming, especially when life slows down and the people you love aren't as close as they used to be. But here's the thing. Being alone doesn't mean you're doomed to feel lonely. There's a way to turn that silence into something meaningful, even joyful. And in today's video, I'm going to share 6 powerful habits that can completely transform how you experience aging alone. These aren't just tips. They're daily choices that can mean the difference between fading into the background and living a life that's vibrant, purposeful, and full of connection. Before we dive in, I want to ask you something. What's the one thing that scares you most about growing older alone? Drop it in the comments below. Your thoughts could spark a conversation that helps someone else feel less alone. And if you want to keep discovering ways to live your best life, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Let me tell you about Margaret. She's 82, a retired nurse who thought her best days were behind her. After her kids moved away and her social circle shrank, her days started blending into one long, lonely blur. She'd sit in her armchair, staring out the window, wondering if this was all life had left for her. Sound familiar? Maybe you're not there yet, but the fear of that kind of isolation is real. Margaret's story could have ended there, trapped in that quiet house. But something shifted, and it wasn't luck. It was a series of small, intentional choices that brought her back to life. Curious? Stick with me, because her journey is just the beginning. Here's what we're covering today. 6 habits that can redefine what it means to age alone. We'll talk about creating a daily routine that gives your days purpose, staying physically active to keep your body and mind sharp, building social connections to fight off loneliness, keeping your brain engaged to stay curious, practicing gratitude to find joy in the little things, and, most importantly, finding ways to give back to others. Each habit builds on the last, and by the time we're done, you'll see how they weave together into a life that feels full, no matter who's around. But there's one habit, one game changer, that stands above the rest. It's so powerful, so overlooked, that it could be the key to unlocking a life of purpose and joy. Want to know what it is? You'll have to stay until the end, because this one's a revelation you won't want to miss. Let's jump in with habit number 1. Establish a daily routine. Imagine waking up each morning knowing exactly what your day holds, not because it's packed with obligations, but because you designed it to feel meaningful. A routine isn't about rigidity. It's about giving your life rhythm. Without one, days can slip into a haze, especially when you're on your own. I remember when my mornings felt aimless after I retired. I'd sleep in, skip breakfast, and by noon, I'd wonder where the time went. It wasn't just boring, it was draining. Then I started small. I'd make my bed, brew a cup of coffee, and sit by the window with a book for 15 minutes. That tiny structure changed everything. Suddenly, my days had a pulse. Take Robert, a 76-year-old widower. After losing his wife, his world went quiet. He'd wake up at random hours, eat whatever was easiest, and lose hours to TV. Loneliness wasn't just a feeling. It was his reality. But one day, he decided to take control. He started waking up at 7 a.m., taking a short walk, and cooking a proper breakfast. He even scheduled weekly calls with his grandkids. Those small acts gave his days shape, and soon he felt like himself again. Studies back this up. A 2023 report from a National Institute on Aging found that structured routines reduce stress and improve mental health in older adults. So start simple. Pick one thing, like a morning stretch or set bedtime, and build from there. Your days are yours to shape, and a routine is the foundation of a life that feels alive. If that resonates, comment 9 below. If it's not quite hitting home, drop a 0. I'd love to know what you think. Now, get ready for habit number 2. Prioritize physical movement, because this one's a game changer. You don't need to be a gym rat to stay strong. Trust me, I'm not. But moving your body every day is like giving yourself a shot of energy and independence. When I was younger, I didn't think twice about climbing stairs or carrying groceries. But as I hit my 70s, I noticed those things getting harder. I could have shrugged it off as just aging, but I didn't. I started walking 10 minutes a day, then added some light stretches. Now, I feel stronger than I did a decade ago. Eleanor, a 78-year-old retired librarian, learned this the hard way. After years of sitting more and moving less, simple tasks like bending down or walking to the mailbox left her winded. She thought it was just her age, until she joined a walking group. Within weeks, her energy was back, her joints felt looser, and she even slept better. Science supports this. A 2024 study in The Lancet showed that just 15 minutes of daily movement can cut the risk of heart disease and boost cognitive function in older adults. You don't need fancy equipment or a marathon goal. Try chair exercises, a stroll around the block, or even dancing to your favorite song. The key is consistency. Move a little today, and you'll be amazed at how much stronger you feel tomorrow. Comment 9 if you're inspired to get moving, or 0 if you're not there yet. Your feedback keeps me going. If you thought that was powerful, habit number 3. Stay socially engaged will blow you away. Loneliness isn't just a feeling. It's a health risk. I used to think I was fine on my own, but after weeks of barely talking to anyone, I felt hollow. Humans are wired for connection, and without it, we fade. A 2022 study from Harvard found that social isolation increases the risk of depression and even mortality by up to 30%. But here's the good news. You don't need a packed social calendar to feel connected. Take Frank, an 80-year-old widower. After his wife passed, he stopped reaching out. He didn't want to bother his kids or friends, so he spent his days alone, feeling invisible. Then he made a choice. He started calling an old buddy weekly, joined a senior chess club, and even chatted with his neighbor over coffee. Those small steps pulled him out of the darkness. You can do this too. Send a text, join an online group, or just smile at someone at the store. Every interaction counts. I started volunteering at a local library, and suddenly I had people to talk to and stories to share. Connection is out there. You just have to take the first step. Drop a 9 if this hits home, or a 0 if it doesn't. And if you're still here, comment 3 to let me know you're with me. Now, habit number 4, keep your mind stimulated is where things get exciting. Your brain is like a muscle. If you don't use it, it weakens. I used to think forgetting names or misplacing keys was just part of getting older. But then I started doing crosswords and reading history books, and my mind felt sharper than ever. Janet, a 74-year-old retired teacher, had a similar wake-up call. She noticed her memory slipping, small things like forgetting appointments. Worried, she started taking an online Spanish class and doing daily puzzles. Within months, her focus was back, and she felt alive again. A 2023 study in neurology found that mentally stimulating activities, like learning a new skill or playing games, can delay cognitive decline by up to 5 years. You don't need to be a scholar. Try reading a new genre, writing a journal, or even debating a friend about a movie. I started gardening, and learning about plants keeps my brain buzzing. Challenge yourself, and you'll be amazed at how sharp you stay. Comment for, if you're ready to keep your mind sharp. Wait until you hear habit number 5. Practice gratitude and reflection. This one's simple, but life-changing. I used to dwell on what I'd lost, my youth, my old job, people I loved. But when I started writing down 3 things I was grateful for every day, my whole outlook shifted. A warm meal, a sunny afternoon, a kind word. Those little things became my anchor. George, a 79-year-old firefighter, found this out after losing his wife. He was stuck in grief until he began journaling about the good in his life. Over time, he felt lighter, more hopeful. Research from UC Berkeley in 2024 showed that gratitude reduces stress and boosts happiness by 25%. Try it. Each night, jot down 3 things that made you smile. Pair it with a moment of reflection, maybe a quiet walk or a few minutes of meditation. It's like hitting reset on your soul. You'll find joy in places you never noticed before. Comment 5 if gratitude speaks to you. Now, here's the big one. Habit number 6. Find a way to help others. This is a secret, I promise. the one that ties everything together. When I felt my loneliest, I started volunteering at a food bank. Suddenly, I wasn't just alone, I was needed. Margaret, the nurse I mentioned earlier, found this too. After retiring, she felt purposeless until she started helping at a community center. Those few hours a week gave her friends, purpose, and a reason to get up each morning. A 2021 study in the Journal of Gerontology found that volunteering boosts mental health and even extends life expectancy. You don't need to save the world. Write a letter, share advice, or just listen to someone. Giving reminds you that you matter. This habit is a key to a life that feels full, no matter your age or circumstances. Don't skip it. It's the heart of everything we've talked about. Comment 6 if you're ready to give back. As I wrap up, let me leave you with this. Aging alone isn't a sentence. It's an opportunity. Every day, you can choose to build a life that's rich with purpose, connection, and joy. Start with one habit, maybe a morning routine or a daily walk, and watch how it snowballs. Margaret, Robert, Eleanor, Frank, Janet, George, they all started small, and now they're thriving. You can too. What's the one habit you're going to try first? Share in the comments, and let's inspire each other. If this video moved you, hit the like button, subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss a chance to live better. Your support means the world, and together, we can make every day count. Until next time, keep choosing joy. You've got this.